Have you ever had a time in life where you felt like you wanted to quit? Maybe you were working for something and you just felt like you just had enough? Well, I had one of those moments, and it was back when I was in college playing football. You see, I had a dream. I wanted to play college football, and I was that day, one day during my sophomore year, I'd had enough. I called my coach, told him I quit, called my parents, and I felt like a big loser, and told them I was quitting college football because you know what, I'd never been a quitter, but I had just come to my limit that day. I just felt like throwing in the towel. And my dream had started before that with high school football. My senior year of high school football, I started in high school football, and I was like, we had a 4-1 season going our senior year. We had a great season, and then all of a sudden halfway through the year we lost our last 5 games because some people on our team decided that it was more important to drink and party than it was to win games, and I didn't want to end football like that. So a new dream emerged for me, and that was to play college football and to play it at a Division II level, which would allow me to get an athletic scholarship and play at a higher level, at a kind of a medium level college football, which I thought was a big goal. And not only did I want to play at a Division II level, I picked Mankato State University, which was arguably in the toughest Division II football conference in the country. So a new dream emerged, and I poured myself into the college football, training for college football. I had to walk on, and just to define what a walk-on is somebody who decides they're not going to get a scholarship, but you're going to walk on, practice with the team, do everything with the team, but you're basically going to be cannon fodder for the older players and the more experienced players. And that was okay with me because I had a new dream and I was willing to put the time in. I wanted to do something big and crazy, and a lot of people didn't think I could do this. My high school coach, a lot of my teammates, because I was undersized and I wasn't recruited out of high school. But that day, I'd had enough. So 3 years of watching my roommates go fishing and go and hang out at the park while I was trudging my way up the hill. Workouts kind of took their toll on me. The physical beatings in practice from being on the scout team, the coach that I had at the time liked to play favorites. He had his boys, so to speak, the guys that played in front of me that were lazy and didn't always play well, but they always kept their positions because the coach liked them. And it felt like I was just going to get anywhere. And even in practice, I would even beat up on some of the scholarship players, and I felt like nothing was going to change. But I had an epiphany. That epiphany happened that after I made that call, I decided, I put 3 years into this program, and I didn't want to just give it up right there and then. I wanted, at least spring football was coming up, I wanted to go through spring football and see how that went. So after spring football, smoke cleared, I was called upstairs to the coach's office, and I had 2 goals going into college football. I probably should have prefaced it with that. My 2 goals were to earn a scholarship and were to be a starter. So after spring football, when the smoke cleared, I was given a scholarship. Goal 1 was done. I had almost quit. I'd almost lost that goal just because I was tired and I was beat down. So that goal was done. And then the following fall, after that, that was my sophomore year. My junior year started the following fall, and my old position coach, the one that played favorites, he left, and we got a new coach. His name was Coach Muss, and Coach Muss was like a breath of fresh air. He decided he wasn't going to play favorites. He'd actually played the position I played, which was offensive line. He knew all the ins and outs of playing it. He taught us how to be smart players, not just good players, but play smart, play with attitude, play with pride. And most importantly about Coach Muss is he actually poured encouragement into me. And that encouragement, I guess, really came to roost when I, early in the season, my junior year, the player that was in front of me, a very talented offensive lineman, went down one of the first plays of the game against one of the best teams in the country. And guess who was thrust into action? Me. So I got pushed into this game, and I responded to the call. I remember that game, I played out of my mind that game. And it was just like surreal. It was actually my moment had come, not like I had planned it. So I was now the starter, goal number 2 accomplished. And I managed to hold that starting position through my junior year all the way through my senior year of college, even when that other player that I replaced came back. But that doesn't mean it was all rainbows and unicorns. As always, with any journey along the way, there's pitfalls, there's challenges. So some of the challenges that I incurred were along the way. I had you're always going to have haters. So as I got that starting position, there was some coaches that felt I was a walk-on. What the heck was a walk-on doing? There were some derogatory comments that were thrown my way. Also, there was a senior player who thought that because I was a junior and he was a senior, he deserved to play more than I did. And so one day in the bar, he cornered me and proceeded to give me a lecture about how he felt he should play over me. But I knew the truth. The truth was he spent his summers drinking and getting fatter and more out of shape while I worked my butt off, so I wasn't buying what he was selling. And then there was the time before my senior year. I had a serious girlfriend. I was really in love with her. Right after training camp ended, she decided to tell me that she had been cheating on me with another guy, and she was basically dumping me for this other guy. And I just remember that moment, like, kind of at first it felt like a punch in the gut, but then all of a sudden something rolls up inside of me. And I remember telling her, you know what, this sucks, I'm not happy, but my vision is bigger than you. I've had this vision long before you came along, and I'm gonna see this thing through. And I got empowered to move forward, and I pressed on through my senior year after that fact. So, fast forward to the end of the year, we get done, it's 54-7, our final game against one of our conference rivals. We crushed them. It was a great way to end my senior career, just kicking someone's butt. It's always a good way to end. As we're coming home on the bus, I'm sad. You know, I'm sad. It's this 5 years experience is over, but I'm also feeling a sense of pride well up in me that despite all the trials and tribulations, I had seen this through. I had set these 2 goals and I had seen this through. And, you know, I can't think of a time in my life, a period in my life that's changed my life or changed who I am more than that experience. So kind of thinking back on that, I look back on that experience and I realized that there's no experience that has shaped me more than that, and I learned 3 really key things from that experience. Number 1 is hard work and dedication will always beat talent and genetics. Number 2 is you need a guide to accomplish anything big. Now along the way, like I talked about, I hit one of my goals, but I never would have accomplished goal 2 if I hadn't been for Coach Muss. So having that coach that could really help me get to that next level, that was key for me. Number 3 was just when you want to give up. A lot of times when you're at the lowest point or you feel like you want to quit, that's when the biggest breakthrough is going to occur. So to this day, as I go through life and I face challenges of being a dad, being a business owner, being a husband, just life in general, when those challenges come up, I revert back to this experience, my college football experience at MSU, and it helps me. I realize how much that whole experience of going through all that has shaped the guy I am today.